Hey guys, what is up, and I welcome you to a new episode of the Did You Know series, this episode featuring Kayle. Please don't forget to throw in a like if you do end up enjoying this episode. But without much further ado, let us go straight into her abilities. Kayle's passive shreds her target's armor and magic resistance by 3% per auto attack, stacking up to 5 times. And this passive within itself stacks additively, meaning it goes up to 15% max. But when taking it into account with other percent reductions, it stacks multiplicatively. If Kayle Qs or attacks an opponent with max passive stacks, it will simply refresh the duration remaining. Divine Blessing and Righteous Fury do not have any cast time, meaning it can be used while running or chasing without slowing down yourself or your target, for instance one of your allies. Spell Shield will block Kayle's Q, but not her E with the auto attacks, nor will it interfere with the application of her passive through her auto attacks. If Kayle crits while her E ability is on, the bonus damage from E will not interact directly with the critical damage amplification. Instead, it will simply add the bonus damage of E on top of whatever the critical damage is with your basic auto attack damage. Kayle can make use of Hydra and Runance, but not at the same time. When in melee form, Hydra will work on the auto attacks and the active as well. But when she switches to her ranged form thanks to her E, Hydra no longer works, nor can you activate the item itself, but Runance now will proc per auto attack. When Kayle has her E ability on, if she were to attack Jax while he's dodging, Pantheon while he's blocking with his passive, Fiora while she's parrying, or if Teemo blinded her, it will block the auto attack damage. However, it will still apply the bonus damage from her E. Kayle's E ability on her auto attacks will deal bonus AoE damage to nearby targets. But if attacking a structure, it will not deal its small AoE damage around the area. On the other hand, if you attack an inhibitor with her E on, it will splash to nearby targets. Even though Kayle with her E on is considered ranged, her auto attacks are not projectiles, therefore it will go through something like Yasuo's wall. With cooldown reduction of at least 37.5% of the 40 max, Kayle can have her E on permanently, assuming she has the mana to sustain it. Kayle's ultimate, much like her W and her E, has no cast time. Her ultimate prevents all damage done to her target. This does not, however, include the Nexus Obelisk or the Fountain Laser, and it will go straight through the ultimate. Alright guys, let us go into some cool facts and lore about Kayle. As mentioned in my Morgana Did You Know, Kayle and Morgana are sisters, and their stories together strongly resemble that of Michael and Lucifer in the Christian poem Paradise Lost. Her voiceover artist is named Lisa Lindsley, and it is the same voice artist as the one for Soraka. In League of Legends, Kayle at the moment is the only champion to have an ability that offers complete invulnerability to damage while not being static. This of course referencing to her ultimate. As mentioned in the ability section earlier, Kayle's ranged attacks aren't considered projectiles and can go through Yasuo wall. But she is not the only one, and there are 2 other champions that can do this, and those champions being Thresh and Vel'Koz. Kayle was the first to have her dance changed after her initial release, and her dance references to the famous series, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Kayle's title is the Judicator, but initially she was called Judicator as her name itself during the alpha stages of the game before being renamed to Kayle. Kayle has had her abilities reworked 3 times ever since her creation and is the first champion to have that done to her. Some champions have been switching over to the Chinese artwork as their default artwork within the client, and Kayle's artwork was the first to have that done to it. As stated in the Journal of Justice, Kayle is an investigator, match moderator, and even bodyguard for the league, and she even had to help save some summoners and champions from events that have went wrong. From this, let's go into her lore. Kayle is known as a heroine in a world far away, known as the stronger among an immortal race committed to destroying evil. Thousands of years, Kayle has fought for her people, wearing armor of an extinct race of craftsmen. War has definitely taken a toll on her spirit, and from this she tends to avoid showing her face if possible. She tries lifting the evil from people, but purging those past redemption. 10 years ago, however, Kayle was on the verge of victory against evil, until her sister Morgana gained new allies, magicians from Runeterra. Morgana's newfound power are now a threat to Kayle and her people. In order to save her world, she made a pact with the League's leader, High Counselor Reginald Ashram, trading Kayle's services to prevent all League interference on Kayle's world. Ever since Ashram's disappearance from the League, Kayle now must find out 1. The mystery behind his disappearance, and 2. Defeating her sister on the fields of justice. Apparently, for a while, it used to list Kayle as a tank incorrectly, rather than her true role, a fighter. She shares a quote with Sion.
"Lead me to battle."
Lead me to battle.
Kayle's current artwork received small tweaks several patches ago due to similarities with the rock patterns at the bottom with a Magic the Gathering card called Iona Shield of Emeria. Kayle's current artwork is also used as the cover for the Tribunal, a system that players can review cases of bad behaviors from other players and choose to either punish or not. Silver Kayle is part of the Collector's Edition pack. Judgment Kayle was awarded as a free skin to players who played a certain number of games in Season 1. Battleborn Kayle was leaked in Brand's art Spotlight, but initially it was named Gunmetal Kayle. Unmasked Kayle, now a legacy skin, features Kayle without of course her headpiece for the first time. Aetherwing Kayle, her legendary skin, has a story of its own, referring to Kayle in an alternate fantasy where she somehow lost her wings, but learned the secrets of the ancient craftsman who crafted her armor long ago, made her new wings, and won the war for her people. This skin also has a strong resemblance to Uriel from Darksiders. Though no longer relevant due to Maokai's lore change, Kayle protected a crowd with her powers from Maokai as he came to life and was confused, unleashing arcane blasts randomly. Alright guys, that unfortunately does mark the end of this episode of Did You Know featuring Kayle. If you did enjoy this episode, please don't forget to throw in a like and share it with your friends. If you have suggestions on what champion I should do next, or if there are any interesting theory videos you think I should cover, definitely write a comment under this video. I'd also appreciate it if you guys can follow me on my Facebook and Twitter page, both Redmercy LOL. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I hope to see you next time. Peace!